everybody, it's Dr. Joe here on this Wednesday evening. Hope you're doing fine wherever you are. And it's a very nice day here in the DC area, and had a great week. In fact, weekend. My nephew got married, and had a bunch of different celebrations and had guests and so on. So hope you're doing well where you are. A special shout out to Amanda if you're listening. Hi, Amanda. And so on. So anyway, so today we're going to talk about fix and flip strategies, and really how to do it properly. Secrets to maximizing profits if you decide you want to pursue that strategy, which is the fix and flip. Essentially, as we all know, on these late night guru programs to make it sound simple, all you got to do is get in, get out, and get paid. So they say, but we all know it's never as easy, as what they say it is, and so on. So anyway, today we're gonna, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box, and I'll get to it in about 20-25 minutes. Anything to do with real estate, fix and flip, buying whole, landlord and tenants, buying a house, fixing up a house, whatever the question is, feel free to put it in the chat box, and I'll get to them. And likewise, if you have want to book a one-on-one with me, where we can deep dive into a situation, issue, a challenge that you're experiencing, feel free to schedule a one-on-one with me. You go to my website, www.joeasinoro.com, and you can set up a one-on-one with me. It's turned out really well. Had a couple last week, and so on. And as I said last time, on Sunday I'll be traveling overseas. I'm going to East Africa, going to Uganda, and also to Tanzania. So looking forward to that. Go to the beach, go to the safari, go to the Serengeti, go to Zanzibar, and first time to East Africa. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one, and so on. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about fix and flip strategies, secrets to maximizing profits. And so the question therefore becomes, how can mastering fix and flip strategies transform your real estate investment success? As real estate investors, it's everybody likes quick cash. You generate quick cash by wholesaling, and also you can do what we call fix and flip. And it's an effective solution in the sense that it allows you to, in a relatively short period of time, to get a decent return on your money. So, at a high level, fix and flip, as the name sounds, you buy a house, you renovate the house, i.e. you force improvements to the home, and then you sell it, hopefully, at a profit. And but to do that, it does require a deep understanding of some of the key elements in this strategy, like finding the right properties, executing cost-effective renovations, and also timing the market so that way you can sell the property rather than getting stuck with it. So if you look at the background today, you'll see a typical house. This was before on the left-hand side, or at least, and then the after it's been transformed, which is on the right-hand side. So the idea is that you buy a property at a low price, you make the improvements, and then you sell it at a higher price, and then after all the expenses are taken care of, then the profits is the delta between what you pay for it, what you holding cost and selling cost and renovation cost. You subtract that all, and then the net is your profit. And so to do it well, I've done several of these things, and some of them worked out quite well, and a lot of them haven't done so well. That's why I don't really do a lot of fix and flip. It's not really as profitable as what sometimes people make it to be. There's a lot of risk, and it can be challenging, but it can be, if you do it right, it can be a very, very effective strategy. That's what we're going to talk about today, how to do it right if you're going to pursue this strategy. And we're going to go into some detail, and as always, I'm going to provide some actionable items and strategies and to-dos that you can do, and also I'll talk about some of the pitfalls that you should try to avoid, such that way you'll be successful. And the market is always changing, so you don't want to be, as they say, the guy standing up when the music stops, i.e. you buy a house, fix it up, and you can't sell it because the market's changed, or there's certain things happen. and beyond your control, and now you're stuck with this thing. It could be a disaster. A lot of people have lost a lot of money, and so what we're going to do today is learn from some of the experiences that I've been through, but also experience that other seasoned investors have gone through, who have pursued the fix and flip strategy. So hopefully it'll help you avoid making what I call unnecessary mistakes and so on. So let's get going. We're going to break it as usual. We're going to break it into 6 parts. And the first part is, to be successful is you got to find the right properties. Okay, so part 1, or number 1, is going to be, we're going to talk about finding the right properties. So the question is, what are the key factors to consider when selecting a property to fix and flip? You got to obviously find the right property. So what are the factors that you need to consider as you find or select the right property? So choosing the right property is really the cornerstone of a successful fix and flip. As investors, you need to identify properties with potential for you to add value when you make the renovations. So the key factors obviously include things like the location of the property. Where is it located? What's the neighborhood? What's the state? What's the city? The market demand in that area. Is there a demand for renovated homes? If there's no demand and you create a product, it may not end well. So you got to make sure there's demand, and also things like the property condition. What's the condition of the property when you acquire it? Does it require light renovations, mid-level renovations, major renovations? Are you set up to be able to handle and do and complete these renovations? Do you have the right team in place? Do you have the right contractors? Do you have the wherewithal to pull permits if necessary, and get it done such that you pass through inspections and so forth? And also, you need to factor in things like the repair cost. How much is it actually going to cost to transform this house from its current condition into its future conditions? So how much it's going to cost is also another factor to consider as well. So it's really crucial to understand what you're doing. So you need to do a thorough market analysis in the area that you're considering buying. And where is it located? Is it a desirable location with a strong resale potential? Because one of the key factors, obviously, is to understand the local market where you're thinking of investing. So, for example, Washington, D.C. If you're not from Washington, D.C., it's just considered Washington, D.C. But for locals, we know that there are lots of different neighborhoods. There are some places which are more desirable than other places. There are some places where there's a high demand to live there, and there's other places where there isn't a high demand. So that local knowledge in terms of where you're trying to invest is really, really important. And so it involves things like researching the neighborhoods, studying recent sales data, and also identifying areas with high growth potential. Okay, so additionally, as investors, the ideal scenario is to buy properties that are undervalued or in need of renovation, and because they provide you with the greatest potential for profit. In other words, you want to buy houses that maybe it's an eyesore, maybe it's intimidating for most people, but you have the wherewithal to actually transform this thing, and so on. So obviously, to find these properties, you need to work with certain people, things like real estate agents, wholesalers, bird dogs, and all those kind of things, who specialize in finding these opportunities. It's also, once you find these opportunities, it's important, obviously, that you do an inspection, you do your due diligence to make sure that what you think is going to happen, or is really what it is. For example, you may want to do a home inspection to find out what the plumbing condition is like, what the electrical condition, what's the roof like, what's the structural issue, what's the foundation. All those things you need to know, because if you buy it and you don't know and you find that out after you bought the house, then it could have a major impact in terms of your ability to close, and also your ability to make a profit from this thing. So do an inspection, a home inspection to assess the condition of the property, and check for the what we call structural integrity, things like the electrical system, plumbing system, the heating systems, and things like that. And also make sure you have a realistic budget to be able to take it from its current condition to its final condition. So what are the action items associated with finding the right properties that you may want to consider? One, use online tools to find out what's out there, to do an assessment of the marketplace where you are looking to invest, what's the value, what the property values, and what are the trends, what are the neighborhoods that are going up and down and things like that. You can go to attend real estate auctions and network with agents, or even go to attend real estate investment association meetings to speak with other investors, so you can get some good information from them. And also, if you were to buy something, make sure, or at least before you buy, make sure you do a thorough analysis and inspection to estimate the value of the renovations or the cost of renovations accurately. So that's number one, which is finding the right property. Number two is once you found the property, you have to do what we call cost-effective renovations. You got to be able to turn this property from its current condition to its final condition within your budget. I mean, one thing I know about renovations, I've never had a situation where my renovations have gone. I was pleasantly surprised because I spent less money. That's never happened. I always spend more. It's never happened whereby it's taken shorter than what I thought it would be. Most of the rehabs always take longer. And thirdly, there's always issues that you're going to face once you start the renovations. So these cost-effective renovations is a really important topic if you're going to go into the fix and flip. If you're going to implement the fix and flip strategy. So the question is, how can investors manage renovation costs without compromising quality? Okay, so how do you actually do this without staying within budget, maintaining quality, and hopefully doing it within a reasonable timeline? So cost-effective renovation is really the key to a successful fix and flip. Investors, like you and I, have to strike a balance between quality improvements and budget constraints. Obviously, you can skew it too far in one way, i.e. you have a perfect product, all the latest bells and whistles, it blows your budget, and now you make no money. Likewise, if you're not too careful, you could have issues with your contractor. If you're not too careful, you could have an issue in terms of how long it takes, which again will have an impact on your ultimate profitability. So the goal is to enhance the property's appeal to potential buyers while keeping your cost under control and manageable. So this obviously involves careful planning and prioritizing renovations. You got to prioritize what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what's important, may not be so important for buyers, and things like that. So my experience is that buyers, generally pay a lot of attention to things like the kitchens, the bathrooms, and some of the other amenities, that you can add to the property. So, curb appeal obviously is important, and sometimes energy efficient like windows, certain types of appliances and things like that is quite important as well. So it's important if you're going to do a renovation, you start off with a renovation plan and also a renovation budget before you start the renovations. Okay, this is going to cover things like the necessary repairs and improvements that you're going to do, and also an estimated cost associated with that. So by having this clear plan in place, you can avoid what I call unexpected expenses, and you can stay on track. Additionally, if you have a good working relationship with a contractor, if you have a good contractor, and you have a place where you can get some good materials at a fair price, that's also going to affect your profitability as well. If you can keep those under control without compromising quality, then you're going to have a better product, and also you're going to, keep within budget. So, I can't say too much about contractors. We all know these renovation projects, having good contractors is the key. Contractors will make or break these projects. If you have a contractor who, is not that great, or is troublesome, or just gives you headache, it can really, really impact your sanity. These guys can make you crazy sometimes. So obviously, you need to, take time to do your due diligence for your contractor. Select, check them out, check references, get referrals if possible, and also make sure that they are providing with quality fixtures and finishes, modern amenities, and which is going to increase the desirability of your home, and which obviously needs to be in line or in sync with expectations in your market, your local market. So over improving your property can lead to higher cost that may not be able to be recouped. You've just spent too much money on the rehab. You've done things that buyers are happy you did it. They're just not going to pay you extra for it. Likewise, you don't want to do low quality, finishes because sometimes it just looks cheap. So in terms of number 2, which is the cost-effective renovation, some action items you may want to consider. Prioritize renovations. Focus on things that give you the highest ROI, return on investment, such as kitchen and bathrooms. That's important. Work with a trusted contractor to develop a detailed renovation plan and a budget. And regularly monitor renovation progress to ensure that your project stays within budget and also stays within the approved timeline. So that's number 2, which is cost-effective renovations. Number 3 is market timing. No one can really know. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but we all know as real estate investors that the market changes. It goes up and down. Things like interest rates, things like employment opportunities. These all things affect the market where you are locally. So I think it's really appropriate that we talk about market timing and when you get in and when you get out and so on. So why is timing crucial in the fix and flip strategy? That's the question. Why is timing? Why am I talking about market timing as part of this discussion? Well, timing plays a pivotal role in the fix and flip strategy. It's pivotal. The real estate market fluctuates, as we all know, due to seasonal trends, market trends, economic conditions, changes in interest rates, and so forth. And so as investors, we need to be aware of these things because that will affect when we buy and also if we can sell, and supply and demand. So it's really important to know what's going on locally in terms of the market demand, supply and demand. That will help you in terms of purchasing, when to buy, what to buy in terms of renovations, and also the likely sales in terms of maximizing your returns. So for example, if you buy in a buyer's market is when there are more sellers than there are buyers. So buyers have the upper hand. Okay, that's a buyer's market. So obviously, if the buyers have the upper hand, then generally it's because the market is slow. There are more sellers than there are buyers. So you have the upper hand, which means that you can typically negotiate harder and buy stuff at a cheaper price. And likewise, in the seller's market, this is when there are more buyers than there are sellers, i.e. the seller has the upper hand. So there are more buyers than there are houses for sale. So you as a seller have the upper hand because there's just a lot of buyers out there looking for a place. So that's also going to probably result in a higher price for you if you're selling the property, and so on. So understanding local market dynamics is essential in determining when's the best time to buy and when's the best time to sell. So this involves things like trends in property values, demand, and also inventory levels. So additionally, if you're flexible, you can sort of, come in and leave, enter the market and leave the market when it makes the most sense for you as a buyer or a seller. So by sort of timing your transactions strategically, you can increase your chances of achieving higher profits. So you need to consider things like economic factors of the real estate market locally, and this includes things like monitoring interest rates, employment rates, and other economic indicators that can influence really the buyer behavior in your local markets. So by staying informed and adapting your strategy to the changing market, you can sort of mitigate some of the risks and maximize your returns. So what are some of the action items associated with market timing? Stay informed about local and national trends, real estate marketing trends. Plan your project timeline to align with the peak selling season. When it's the peak selling season, there are usually more buyers out there, so that's the time to sell. Be prepared to adjust your strategy based on market fluctuations. And so that's number 3. So again, we're going to be going to Q&A very, very shortly, about 10 minutes or so. So if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box. I'll get to them very, very shortly. Like all things, if you want to book a one-on-one with me, feel free to go to my website, joeasamoah.com, www.joeasamoah.com, and you can book a one-on-one with Ask Dr. Joe. If you have a particular situation that is, it's giving you a headache, it stumped you, you're confused, you're frustrated, you're angry, whatever it is, whatever the situation, if it's pertaining to real estate, book a one-on-one with me, and there's a pretty good chance I've probably been through that scenario myself, been doing this for about 30, 35 plus years. So there's no point trying to figure it out yourself if you can leverage on other people's experiences. And this program, or this Ask Dr. Joe, is really, I'm trying to do is to encourage people to take action. So at some point, you're going to have to pull the trigger and get it, and buy something. You can't watch videos all day long and achieve financial independence by watching TikTok videos or YouTube videos. At some point, you're going to have to take action. And that's when it gets scary. And so that's when a resource like myself, to bounce ideas off, is really, really important. So check it out. If you want to book a one-on-one with me, go to www.joeasamoah.com, and we can do that then. But I will be on vacation for the next 3 weeks, so it'll have to be when I come back. So let's keep moving on. Number 4. So far we've done 3 of them. We've done finding the right property that has a factor in terms of fix and flip strategy. Number 2 was cost-effective renovations. Number 3 was market timing. And so we're going to talk about number 4, which is efficient project management. Project management obviously is key. Your ability to get the job done once you start. Starting is good, but you have to get to the finish line. And that's where it's all project management. So how can effective project management enhance the success of a fix and flip? That's what we're going to talk about next. So efficient project management is really crucial for keeping a fix and flip property on track and within budget. This includes things like coordinating with contractors, managing timelines, and overseeing the quality of work. Okay, so project management includes things like coordinating with contractors, your electricians, your plumbers, HVAC guys, the roofers, and all those kind of architects. Managing the timeline, making sure that this thing is moving along, doesn't get stuck, and also overseeing the quality to make sure that you have a quality end product at the end of the day. So clear communications and setting realistic expectations with your team are key components of a successful project. So effective project managers like yourself or myself, we need to ensure that things like the necessary permits are in place and we have the right inspections. In fact, one of my projects, we just did an inspection today. We did what we call a slab inspection, where we dug some of the basement for the plumbing lines, the groundworks. We had the groundworks inspection done, and then today we had the slab inspection done. So again, you have to have inspections done. They're all passed, so that's good. But yeah, that's all project management, because delays in any area can stall the project and will impact your profitability. So as a result of that, use certain project management tools and software that can help you streamline the process and keep all stakeholders, whether it be you, the lenders, the buyers. I mean, whatever it is, all these stakeholders through some tools out here now. You can oversee and manage projects a lot more efficiently and keep people posted and informed. So obviously, as a project, when you do these projects, unexpected things happen. Things go wrong. Things that you don't expect to see behind the wall, you see, and things that your assumptions that you made didn't pan out. So you got to have contingency plans, and also be ready to handle unexpected challenges that may arise during the renovation project itself. It's going to happen. So make sure you have contingency plans in place and be flexible. Just in case plan A doesn't work, you got plan B, and if necessary, a plan C, and so forth. So by staying organized and proactive, you can minimize disruptions and ensure that the project is completed on time and within budget. So what are some of the action items associated with project management? Develop a detailed project timeline and share it with all stakeholders. Regularly visit the property to monitor progress and quality, and also use project management software to track tasks, timelines, and budgets. Keep moving along. Number 5, risk management. These projects can be risky, so you got to have things in place to manage your risk. Okay, so the question then becomes, how can investors like you and I mitigate risks in fix and flip projects? How do we minimize or mitigate or reduce risks on these projects? So likely, like any investment, fix and flip projects come with inherent risks. These include unexpected renovation costs, market downturns, and difficulty selling the property. These are all risks. They occur all the time. It costs too much money, market's changed, and you can't sell it, or you're having difficulty selling. What are you going to do? So to mitigate some of these risks, investors should conduct thorough due diligence before purchasing the property. Make sure you know what you're buying. Don't have buyer's remorse, especially after the fact. So to mitigate risk, as I said before, due diligence. These things include things like understanding the local market, accurately estimating renovation costs, and having a clear exit strategy. I like to have at least 2 exit strategies, plan A and plan B, in the event that plan A doesn't work. For instance, if I'm trying to sell a property and I can't sell it, then can I rent it? And so forth. So that's plan A, plan B. Consider diversifying your portfolio to spread risk around. Having a contingency plan, such as renting out the property if it doesn't sell, can also provide you a safety net. Also, experience in real estate professionals. Use them, the agents and contractors and so on, to navigate some of these potential pitfalls. They have experience, and they may have been through this before. So it's always good to to ask for some guidance and assistance from these folks. Another risk mitigation strategy is insurance. Because obviously, something happens, you want to make sure you have the right insurance. You can't, generally on these rehab projects, the properties are vacant, so your typical renter's policy or your homeowner's policy will not suffice. You have to have what we call a builder's risk property during the renovation itself. And so you want to make sure you have the right insurance policy in place. And also that can obviously protect you from financial losses due to unforeseen events such as accidents or natural disasters or fires or whatever. Okay, so what's the action items associated with risk mitigation? Things like always have a contingency fund for unexpected expenses. Diversify your investment portfolio to reduce exposure to any single property, and also develop an exit strategy before purchasing the property. Have your plan A and plan B in place. And finally, number 6, at some point you're going to have to sell this thing. So we're going to talk about marketing and selling. So the question then becomes, what are the best strategies for marketing and selling a flipped property? What are some of the strategies for marketing and selling a property that's going to be flipped? So obviously, successfully marketing and selling a flipped property is a final step in the fix and flip process. Effective staging is a good one, and high quality photographs can significantly increase a property's appeal. Picking the property correctly is also crucial. You obviously don't want to overprice, because if you do that, you can deter potential buyers, while underpricing can leave money on the table. And so investors should use multiple marketing funnels or channels, including things like online listings, social media, and open houses to reach a wider audience. Obviously, you want to work with skilled professionals like real estate agents who know the local market and can also help accelerate the selling process, and also they can help you negotiate the best terms and possible price. So hosting, open houses and private showings obviously can create a sense of urgency and attract serious buyers. In addition to traditional methods such as what I've talked about, open houses and things like that, you can use digital tools to sell your property, and even social media can expand your reach. So creating virtual tours, posting on real estate forums, and engaging with potential buyers online can generate more interest and lead to quicker sales of your property. 1 second. So ensuring that your property is presented in the best possible light is the key to attracting offers and closing the deal. So what are the action items associated with marketing and selling your property? Stage the property. Use professional photographs to highlight the best of features of your home. List the property on multiple platforms, online platforms, and use social media for wider reach. And also collaborate with real estate agents and set a competitive price and negotiate your offers. In conclusion, I'm going to wrap it up now. So got your questions, please put them in the chat box. I'll go to them in a couple of more minutes. So the question that becomes, in conclusion, how can mastering fix and flip strategies lead to long-term success in real estate investing? How can fix and flip lead to your long-term success? Well, in general, mastering the art of fix and flip, it can be lucrative. It really can be. You can make some quick money if you do it right, and there are a lot of people who have done this very, very well. Likewise, there are a lot of people that have been burnt. It's not always as easy as what people make it to be, but I've talked about some of the critical components in today's live stream, such as property selection, getting the right property, cost-effective renovations, market timing, efficient project management, and risk mitigation. I've talked about all those things because these are key components to help you, successfully implement these, fix and flip projects. So, learn from the experiences of others, learn from my experiences, learn from the experiences of other seasoned investors. Prepare yourself, be adaptable, and always learn. The market's always changing, and staying informed allows you to be agile and will enable you and me to capitalize on opportunities and overcome challenges, hopefully. So mastering these fix and flip strategies, it will help you optimize your returns, minimize risk, and hopefully allow you to achieve your financial goals that we've discussed, that you've shared with me, and so on. So tune into other podcasts, other live Wealth Wednesdays, and hopefully I can give you the confidence to encourage you to take the next step and take action and to pursue your financial independence goals. So with that said and done, my friends, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box. I will go to them shortly. And if you want to shoot me an email, you can shoot me an email at joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com. And likewise, if you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can go to my website, www.joeasamoah.com, www.joeasmo.com, where you can book a one-on-one with me, and hopefully I can help you if you've got a specific situation or problem or a challenge that you're experiencing, and you'd like for me to share my insights and help you get to where you need to go in terms of financial independence. So with that said, my friends, let's get down to the questions and let's have a look. Okay, greetings from Phoenix. Hi there too. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Congratulations to your nephew. Yes, Stefan. Yes, he's a young man, and he's decided to marry his high school sweetheart, and they've been together for about, I don't know, at least 10 years, and so I'm very, very happy for him, and I wish him and his wife, many blessings and future joy and satisfaction. Aloha from Hawaii. Hi, financial firefighter. Hope you're doing well. Let's have a look. Thou too. Last session, you asked me to give you an update. My non-voucher tenant paid for July's rent. August. Okay, so they paid July's rent in August. So now waiting on August rent. The tenant never responded to me when I reached out. Let's have a look. If there's a renovation that needs to be done because the bottom of the cabinets have water damage, do you? Okay, so okay. Hold on, so make sure I do this right. So we're going to miss you while you're on vacation. Okay, can you leave us with a cell phone number in case we have questions while you're on vacation? I don't think so. So let's have a look. So Dow2 gave us an update on it. He had a tenant, if I recall, who was late on his rent, and it looks like the tenant is kind of, coming behind his rent, and he's trying to figure out what to do. I think it's always a good idea to try and work with the tenant if you can, but you still have to do what you got to do in terms of the legal system. But so you can take a two-pronged approach. Try to work with them, but also make sure that you have your paperwork in place, especially if you live in an area where it's very tenant friendly. It takes a long time to evict somebody. So the sooner you can start that process, the better it is for you. So keep us posted, Dow2, and let us know what's going on. So, hey, Dr. Joe, this is Johnny. Hey, Donnie, looking forward to catching up after your trip. I'm sure looking forward for this trip. It should be a good one. We're going to Uganda. We're going to Tanzania. We're going to Zanzibar. It's a real nice island off the coast of Tanzania. Really, really nice beaches. And then we're going to go off to the safari up Arusha, which is, in the Serengeti area near Kilimanjaro, Mount Kilimanjaro. And first time I've been to East Africa, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. It should be a good one. We're going to be gone for 3 weeks. And so on. So I'll keep you posted if I get a chance. Okay, I'm on. Good evening, Dr. Joe. Do you think seller financing to obtain a rehab property, then use a bridge loan or hard money to close out the project is better to help minimize carrying costs? That's a good question. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can break this down. Do you think seller financing, so you're buying a house and the seller is prepared to fund part of the transaction, i.e. you can either take over their loan or they're borrowing you money, and you're going to rehab this property. So it sounds like there's not enough money, to complete the deal. So you're going to have to either get some money, borrow some money, or use your own money to get the delta between what the seller is going to fund you minus what you need. Okay, so you're saying that what's the best way to fund that? Is it a hard money, a bridge loan, or what? Between what the seller is prepared to give you versus minus what it is that you need. So you let's just keep it simple. I don't know if this is a scenario, but the scenario could be if you need 100K, for example, to complete a project, and the seller is prepared to finance, let's say 50,000, and so you're short of, let's just say 60,000. So you're short of 40,000. Therefore, the question becomes, how do you bridge that 40K? You need 40K to do this project. So it's either going to come from your pocket, it could come from a loan, it could come from seller financing, it could come from private money, it could come from different sources. The only thing about hard money is that they're going to require, they want to be in first position, or any lender is going to want to be in first position typically. So the seller, if you have seller finance, is going to have to be in second position. So if the seller is prepared to be in second position and there's enough equity in there for a hard money or for another loan, and they're okay with being, well, they want to be in first position, then you may be able to do it. If not, then you may have to do private money to bridge the delta between what it is that you have and what it is that you need. Obviously, the higher the loan, or the higher the interest rate and the cost of the loan, the greater your carrying cost. Okay, so many times these hard money loans and other loans, bridge loans, they have what we call points. So there may be 1, 2, 3 points, and the interest rate is slightly higher as well. So what does that mean is that your carrying costs and the cost of funds is much higher. So that's going to eat into your profit. So the lower you can keep the carrying costs and the cost of money lower, the greater the chance of making a profit. Because in a fix and flip, everything, all the profits have to be made up front. You can't sort of break even, as you can do in a buy and hold. You can break even and then just hold on to the property for 5, 10, 15 years. And so therefore you can make your profit through the appreciation over time. With a fix and flip, that's not the case. You have to sell it. And once you factor all the costs, whatever's left over is your profit, hopefully. But there are many times where I've done those things where after you paid everybody off, there's just no profits left. And so on. So hopefully that was helpful. Now too, if there's a renovation that needs to be done because of the bottom of the cabinets have water damage, do you know if there's any way to keep Formica counters and replace cabinets? Okay, so let's have a look. So he's got a situation down too where the bottom of the cabinets maybe is old, or there's water damage. Maybe it's a sink cabinet and there was a leak in the plumbing line where the sink was, and water kind of got into the cabinet. Do you know so you're going to replace that cabinet? Now, there's another way. You don't have to replace the cabinet. You could just put a new, almost like a piece of plywood at the base of the cabinet to cover the damaged parts. So that's one way, and that way you keep the cabinet intact. You just repairing or putting a new layer of, it's usually like a thin plywood over the existing base of the cabinet that's damaged. That's one way. In terms of Formica, if you have to replace the entire cabinet, I'm not a great fan of Formica. I tend to use granite nowadays. It's a lot more durable, and I used to use Formica, but sometimes people put hot stuff on it. Hot stuff on the counter, and it'll damage it, and it's not very water resistant. So if you want to keep the Formica, I suppose you can if it's not damaged too much. Otherwise, Formica is a lot more cheap. It's cheaper than granite. So I'm not too sure if the Formica, it looks old and tacky, then you may want to just replace it and put a new one in. But if it looks good, you can keep it, I suppose. You can replace the cabinet, keep the Formica, and put the new Formica on top of a new cabinet if you want to. That's possible, but it's really up to you and the situation that you're in. So if you maybe send some photographs, I can give you my take on it. But I know that I've had situations where the plumbing sink has leaked, and so rather than replacing the entire cabinet, we just replace not so much replace, we'll put a sheet of plywood, very thin plywood, at the base of the cabinet, and it looks good. You can paint it as well. Wealth and wellness with Grace. Hope you're having a great trip. I just came back from Uganda and we had a wonderful. Oh, okay. Oh, well, share your experience, Grace. Which part of Uganda you went to? But yeah, we're going there. I'm going there for the first time, and really, really excited. Looking forward to it. It's not a commonplace for many Americans because it's on the east coast of Africa, so it's further away. Most people, Americans anyway, they tend to go to the west coast of Africa, places like Ghana, especially Ghana, because it's just closer and there are direct flights from the U.S. to to Ghana and Nigeria and things like that. They also speak English as well in Ghana and also in Uganda. So I'm looking forward to the trip. Please give me some insights, Grace, and suggested places that we can go. Katie, Dow 2, to a contractor should be able to remove and restore. A contractor should be able to remove and install or reinstall the Formica. If you're taking on the cabinet project, consider saving your sanity and replacing the Formica with IKEA butcher block slabs. Yes, good idea, good suggestion, Katie. So to you, Dow 2, this is, I think, yeah, a good contractor should be able to remove and install Formica. I've done it before. Well, I haven't done it, but I've had my contractors do it before. As I said before, I don't usually use Formica anymore, but if you want to keep it, you can. It's cheaper, definitely. And also, you can have these butcher blocks, slabs. I think you can place them on top of the Formica. It's less than $200, especially if the areas are damaged. So, good tip there, Katie. Katie BBL, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. So, we've got some dialogue going on. Melissa, hey Melissa. Well, it looks like I will be falling out of contract. Oh no, for both Cleveland duplex. Oh my goodness. What happened? Okay, let's have a look. ARV appraisals came in too low. Okay, so you did your appraisals. It came in too low. I had contingencies in both contracts in case of financing fell through. My agent originally provided ARV comps supporting what was needed. So it sounds like, either the numbers didn't come in, but now for whatever reason, these comps aren't available. And my agent is on vacation on another continent and it's nearly impossible to reach. So I think I am running. So hold on. I'm running. So you're gonna be out of it. Okay. So sometimes it's you have to decide whether to proceed or whether to call it quits. If the ARV didn't come in, then it's a good sign that the numbers aren't there, and you can't force numbers. The numbers don't lie, and it could be that the area it just doesn't command the numbers that you thought. So it's better to find that out now before you buy it than to find that out after you bought the house. So it's a disappointment. I know, Melissa. I'm sure it's a setback, but it's better to know now than after you bought the house and you've done the renovations and you can't, the ARV, the numbers just aren't there, the appraisal's not there, and now you're stuck with this asset. So it's a disappointment, it's a setback, but let's move forward. Let's go on to the next one. It'll be okay, and so on. So, but I'm sure you learned a lot during this process, Melissa. Maybe you can share some of your lessons with the others. New question. I found on a local Facebook page a home advertised by a wholesaler. His price is pretty great. I contacted my local agent, verified it's pending. The wholesaler would sign over the contract. Okay, interesting. So there's another potential opportunity. Okay, well, yeah. So let's check that out. Melissa, maybe it's a better opportunity. So do your due diligence like we did before, and hopefully, this one could pan out. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. We can do a one-on-one session. We can go through the numbers, do our own due diligence, and make sure that it makes sense as well. So hang in there, Melissa. I'm proud of you. Katie, hi, Dr. Joe. Do you approach each renovation with unique design elements, stylistic updates, or do you tend to use similar materials and furnishings with multiple properties? Good question. It's a bit of both. I have a particular style that most of my houses, if I'm going to keep it, I like to maximize the number of bedrooms. I like 4, 5, and 6 bedrooms. So I look at a house and trying to say, okay, how can I get more bedrooms in here? Because the more bedrooms, the more rent. And I do have a certain, fixtures I use, paint colors, standard paint colors I use. I try to use certain, cabinets, kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, certain type of, flooring and so on. So I have some standard designs that we use. The good thing about that is that whatever we use on one project, we can then transfer it over to the next one, and so on. So my contractors know what my design is or designs are, and many times we have to get permits on my project, so we have to get an architect who does the drawings, gets it through the permitting process, and then we get on with it. So we have a system with my contractors because a lot of my houses are very, very similar, and so on. So I try to use the similar materials and furnishings and fixtures, and try to standardize the process. That way, we just have a machine. We just keep going and going and going. Hopefully that helps, Katie. Hello from Houston. Thanks for consistent instructions. You're welcome, DCC. Melissa, I could buy through the wholesaler or wait until his listing expires and then reach out to the seller. Or could I look up the owner in public records and contact them now? Well, if the wholesaler has a contract, then technically you can't go around him. Because they have a contract. The seller can't sell to somebody else. So I suppose you could wait until it expires, and that way you cut out and then go directly to the wholesaler. Wholesaler. You go directly to the seller. You can definitely find out who the owner is on public records. But if they have a contract with the wholesaler, I'm not too sure, even if you were to contact them, whether they could sell it to you directly while it's still under contract. So you may have to wait. The problem with waiting is that the wholesaler may find somebody else who wants the house, and therefore you are out of luck. So it's a little risky on your side. It depends on how badly you want the house, whether it makes sense, and also how much the wholesaler wants as a fee, and does it make sense? If this wholesaler is reasonable, it may just be easier just to go through the wholesaler rather than trying to cut him out. He may be able to share with you some insights, so you did get the lead through the wholesaler, so I think it's only fair that he gets compensated. You can negotiate that fee, and hopefully he's fair, and therefore it becomes a win-win. You don't want to cut out wholesalers, because if you get a bad reputation, then they don't want to do business with you, and your name gets around, and people don't want to work with you, and so on. So it's always not a good idea to burn bridges, I found, just for the sake of a few $100 or $1,000 or whatever it is. It's better to have good relationships with wholesalers, because if you are successful with this transaction, there's a good chance that they may feed you with future deals, rather than trying to go around them and get them upset and so on. So I like to build bridges as opposed to burn bridges. That's just me anyway. But I'll leave it up to you, Melissa. I would say if you can work with a wholesaler and create a win-win scenario, I think you're better off doing that, and so on. So wealth and wellness with Grace. Okay, so she went to Entebbe. That's in Kampala. That's at the airport. Mbali, Sorority. I'm not too sure where these places are. I know where Kampala is. That's the capital. And we're definitely going there. We're flying into Entebbe Airport. We're going from Washington, D.C. to Qatar, Doha. It's a 13-hour flight. And then we got a 3-hour layover in Doha, which is in Qatar, where the World Cup was a year ago. And then from there, we're going from Qatar, or Doha in Qatar, which is it's very close to Dubai, and it's part of the UAE, and then we're going from there to Kampala or Entebbe, I suppose. And once we get to Entebbe, which is the airport, then we're going to go to Kampala, the capital, stay there for about 4 or 5 days, and then from there we're going to Tanzania. We're going to Zanzibar first. I think we'll go about a week there. Really, really nice hotel and beach. And then we're going to the Serengeti. I think about 4 or 5 days there, and see the animals, the lions, the elephants, the zebras, the giraffes, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be going. It's a vast area. We'll be going there, and then we're flying through Kenya back to Uganda. Stay there in Uganda for a few more days, and then return back to the U.S. early September. So that is my itinerary. So far, so good. Anyway, my friends, it is now just about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap it up. And hopefully today was helpful. Hope you had a good Wealth Wednesday. I'll be gone for a few weeks, so we're going to have some replays for the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So, I won't be doing the lives, but they'll be recorded sessions. So hopefully, you'll join me. And I'll definitely give you a full debriefing when I come back. I'll probably post on social media while I'm in East Africa, so you can see what I'm up to, and and so on. So let's have a look. I think we've got some late questions here. Let's have a look. Wishing you all the best on your vacation. I'm sure looking forward to it. I'd imagine you have quite the well-oiled machine. Love the simplicity in keeping a particular style of updates plus bulk buy pricing. Yes, ma'am. And have a safe trip down too. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, friends, it is 8 o'clock. I will see you hopefully in a few weeks. But listen, watch me out on social media, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. I'll give you updates on where I am, what I'm up to. And God willing, I'll be back in early September for another Wealth Wednesday. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'll speak to you guys later. Take care. Bye for now.